from one sad fight to another. This was just a long fight card, man. It was enough decisions, and when you have 3 title fights that almost all go to decision, obviously the Jan versus Aldo didn't quite get there, but the main event, which was the main buzz for this pay-per-view, I don't care what anyone says, it was 100% Jorge Masvidal, but it was 100% boring. Usman, clear decision. You're not going to hear any argument from me. The only argument I'll give is anyone says that he won clear across the board. I thought Masvidal won that first round. I think with more of a training camp, like a normal training camp, he could have won more rounds. Would he have won? I don't know. But I just think he would have had more. It just seemed to me anytime he was put in the clinch or something like that, he was playing so much defense and trying not to exude too much energy so he would have enough to last the whole fight. That if he had more energy in the early goings, he'd be able to pour it on more and possibly hurt Usman, or maybe later in the fight. I don't know. But obviously we had a bet on Masvidal, mainly because if he was going to win a title, it was going to be coming off the trajectory he was on, with the amount of confidence, the amount of everything. It's like there was such a build to it. Like this is when it was going to happen, and it didn't. But I mean, Masvidal's not going anywhere, especially with how big that pay-per-view was and being on the cover of the video game and all that stuff. But I don't know, just a long, boring, sad fight. So kudos to Usman. There's very few guys at welterweight that I would pick to beat him. I just thought, given the night and where Masvidal was at mentally, that there was a chance, especially for those ridiculous. We got him at plus 245, which I think is ridiculous. I think the fight is much closer than that. So value-wise, I still think that was the right side for that extreme amount. I thought Usman probably should have been well under minus 200 favorite, but I will. So Mike, thoughts on this main event? I know if you can't tell by my tone, it's very sad and melancholy, and I'll cheer myself up for the remainder of the cards we're going to go over, but I'm going to pass it to Mike while I console myself.
Yeah, man, I mean, this fight I was so excited for, and I guess I shouldn't have been so excited for it. I'm coming off 6 days, but Usman obviously is good. He's a champion, but he's boring as fuck. I don't care what anybody says. You can at me. Yeah, he's a champion. Yeah, he's done it X amount of times. Cool, dude. You're not entertaining. You're not a fighter. We're fighting. I know that you're trying to like pad your record and keep it good and win, and that's the goal. Of course, you get paid more. But dude, you're not gonna draw pay-per-views. You're not responsible for all the pay-per-views that were drawn. George Masvidal is the reason why we hit over 1 million buys supposedly, and you can argue until I'm blue in the face or you're blue in the face, but that's the facts, Even
Usman better cut Masvidal a check, because since he is the defending champion, he's for sure the one to get pay-per-view points. Obviously, I think Masvidal got some too, but this is going to be his biggest payday by far. He should get him a little bit off the top.
It definitely should, and so it is what it is, man. I don't want to sound like I'm just bitter of the loss. It wasn't just the loss, It just is the fact of I like watching good fights. Everyone at my house at the party that night, we weren't excited after that fight. Not like we were excited after the Diaz upset versus Conor McGregor #1. Rousey getting knocked out by Holm, same thing. There's moments when you're just with people and you're celebrating and everything's cool and like, wow, that knockout was awesome. Usman stomping Masvidal's toes as the most damaging thing in that fight. It was not awesome. So you can blow me.
Sorry, it always reminds me when you bring up the Holly Holm versus Ronda Rousey fight that I was so excited in going in that fight. I had so much on Ronda on that fight, like inside the distance and stuff. But then I was so upset when the fight ended, like freaking out. But then I remembered that the price on under 1.5 was cheaper, so I went with that, and the fight ended in under 1.5. So I made that by the skin of my teeth, and then variable odds. But so if you didn't get that from us speaking earlier, reported this did 1.3 million buys, which is even bigger than Conor McGregor's last fight. Honestly, probably the biggest fight they could make right now is Masvidal versus Conor McGregor. I don't know if they'll do it. It makes sense. They could both fight at 55, 70, pretty much wherever. And that's just a straight cash grab. Like pretty much after that, Masvidal can sail off. And that could be him defending the BMF title if you really want to attach a title to it, to have it be a main event and all that jazz. If you like this clip, remember to like, subscribe, and comment. We want to hear from you. Let's roll.